Buzz fast as me.
What's up, you guys? What's happening? What's happening? What's the word? How y'all feeling today? I know yesterday I'm here in the studio working, but yesterday was crazy because my internet kept going in and out. Let me know what city you guys are hitting me up from. What city are you guys hitting me up from? Yeah, yesterday was crazy, man. My internet just completely was doing its own thing, and I don't know what was going on. I just know it was crazy, and I just couldn't figure it out. Right now, I am in the studio, and sorry, I'm waiting for CJ Mack to get here because we are working on his EP that's about to come out. So I'm waiting for him to get here. I think Meech is busy today handling some business. He's probably gonna hit me up later. And there's so much work to be done, man. There's so much work to be done. So much work to be done, you guys. Not enough hours in a day. Hold on. Checking something out really quick. How y'all doing? What's up, everybody? Hello. How's your day today? What's happening? I want to talk a little bit about Angie. I've just been busy. I haven't been able to really get on here and do what I want. Yesterday I did something, but like I said, my internet was doing something crazy. I don't know, you guys. It was really weird. It was really strange yesterday. I can't tell
you.
Have
you ever seen the magic glasses that can see clearly without glasses? These glasses
I can't tell you what was going on yesterday. I just know it was strange. It was odd. Let me say hello to everybody. Texas, Houston, Texas in the house. What's up, Bridget? Shirley, hi. Memphis, Manuel. Brother Manuel, how are you, brother? How you doing? Blessings to you, brother. Columbus, South Carolina. Monsieur Jour. Monsieur Jour. That's French, you guys. Monsieur Jour. Nice to meet you. Thank you, family. Thank you for tuning in. South Bend, Indiana in the house. Coral from Indianapolis. Thank you. If it's your first time, all of you guys, if it's your first time on Jour, Core, is that right? Make sure you become, I would love for you to become a member. That would be cool. But if you don't, subscribe to my channel. But if you become a member, you get some cool free stuff, you guys. Trust me. It's pretty cool. And for all those that did order the CD, check your mail to be coming sometime this week. Let me know when you get it when I go on live. Let me know that you got your CD. I'm excited for you guys to get it, to enjoy it, to share it with your family and friends. Corel, Mia, hi Mia. Welcome to my channel, Stone Paxton Music and Life. My name is Stone Paxton. For those of you that don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Stone Paxton, recording artist, former member of the Rick James Stone City Band. Nice guy, hard worker, very spiritual. I'm good to my friends. I'm good to everybody around me. I love people. I love life, man. I love knowledge and wisdom. I like knowing things. And I love music. I'm a recording artist. I got albums out. I'm on and off the road. If I'm not in the studio working on somebody's album, I'm working on my own records to come out. You can Google me, and there's tons of records available. If you like that good R&B, soul music, but most of all, the reason why you even see me or even know who I am, if it's anything has to do with Angie, because I loved Angie Stone as a person. I loved Angie Stone as a sister, and I loved her music and everything she stood for. So when she passed away, I was brokenhearted, you guys. Like I had lost a actual sister. It hit me that hard, and it still hits me that way to this day. Um, it hasn't changed much for me. I still cry. I still break down in tears, and I cry and I think about her, and it's an ongoing feeling. It's an ongoing feeling for me, you guys. It's not like it stops. It doesn't have an expiration date for my emotions. When I start crying, it's uncontrollable. Now, I can't explain to you why. All I know is my feelings for Angie were real, and it's coming from a real place. So I made a promise to myself, no matter what happens, when the truth comes out about Angie, as you guys saw that when I premiered that autopsy report, it's never been about Stone, never. Because Angie's inside joke about her and I was, she said, I'm going to call you Stony and you're going to call me Stony. That's going to be our inside joke. You and I, we're going to call each other Stony. Nobody's going to know that but us. And they're going to laugh, and people are going to wonder what we talking about when we laugh at each other and call each other Stony. I thought that was beautiful because she has such a beautiful heart, man. So I said to myself when she passed away, I just could not shake the feeling why I was crying. And I'm going to tell you guys why I think, um, and I know that something is not right with the passing of Angie. My mother passed away in 2004. We buried her in April 2004. The only other person I've ever cried like this about has been my mother. I didn't even cry about my dad as much as I cried about Angie. My mother was the only person I cried about like this. And maybe in high school, being hurt by your girlfriend, you cry over and over again. It's some young man stuff, right? Back in the day, back in the 80s when I was a young boy, these kind of tears are real. That's how you know they're real, because they're coming from a real place. It's an emotional thing, right? So even my girl said to me, I've never seen you cry like that. This is what she said to me. She said, I've never seen you cry like that. She said, wow, I can't. She was shocked because I couldn't control my tears, you guys, no matter what I did. She never saw me cry like this. She didn't know me when my mom passed away. So she didn't see how I cried about my mom. But she saw how I cried about Angie, and she didn't even know what to say. I was crying so bad that she didn't even know what to say to me. She had she had no words. She just let me cry, and she stayed there with me, and she just talked to me, and she held me, right? Cherry said I cried too, like deep. I had to ask God for strength, and I never met her. It's deep. She was a spiritual person. Listen, Cherry, absolutely. November, hello. Listen, if you're not a member of my channel, feel free to become a member. I really, really, really suggest you guys become a member, because you're gonna get all kinds of cool free stuff from me. Um, Free vinyl, free CDs, which I've shipped some off to some of the members. Luscious, hi Luscious. Hold on, you guys. I think CJ Mack is here. What's up, Luscious? Hold on, let me let CJ in. I think CJ's here. Vegas is hot right now, y'all. No, he's not here. Maybe he was calling me, telling me he's on his way. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that open for him. And Only that he can just knock when he pulls up. But listen, okay, so let me get back to what I was saying. So I just lost my train of thought, but we're going to get back on track. Yes, love, smash, share, and subscribe. Listen, smash up that screen, you guys. Hit that screen. So listen, so when Angie passed away, I I I was in uncontrolled mode. And what I mean by that is, man, it didn't matter what anybody said to me. My tears, oh yeah, hi. My tears just flowed, you guys. And it's funny because after I cried that first time, I cried on YouTube as I was trying to talk, right? I couldn't even control my tears when I cried. So I laughed. When the cameras went off, I laughed. I went back and watched the footage, and it was kind of embarrassing, right? Hashtag Angie Stone. Hashtag Justice for Angie Stone. And I laughed at myself. And then I thought about taking the video off, but somebody called me and they saw me and I said, listen, I'm about to delete that. They said, man, no, Stone. Please, man. I know you might think it's embarrassing, but do not delete that video. That was a pure moment for you. It was pure. It was from your heart. It was spiritual. Don't delete that video. Hi, Angela. So I kept the video up. But even when I go back and watch that video, I cry. Just seeing myself cry evokes me to cry again. So I started the hashtag Justice for Angie Stone movement. And the reason why I even did any of those videos, understand, because a lot of people had it twisted. A lot of people were saying, people just said a lot of really rude stuff to me, man. I'm just going to keep it 100. People said a lot of rude and disrespectful stuff to me online. And I don't know, man. People were saying stuff like, he's just trying to, cap off Angie's name, or he's just trying to, troll her name. I mean, people were saying just some of the stupidest shit that you could say. And then somebody went and saw me on that reality show on MTV. So, they took that and really rolled that. Oh, he was acting when he was crying. He was acting. Good afternoon, Red Clay. Good afternoon. They said I was acting. When I cried, they said I was acting. Some girl took the thing from the Tammy Roman show and said, "Oh, look at this Stone Paxton with the two Asian women. He was acting. The Angie stuff was an act." I wish it was an act. And I will tell you something else. What you saw on that show is not an act either. That's my real life. I don't need to lie about something because I live it. I don't need to pretend because I live it. None of that was an act. She will always matter. Love you, Dolores. Thank you. I respect you so much. Thank you for that. I really appreciate you. So I got smashed out online. I mean, they talked bad about me. If you didn't know me and you came across a video talking bad about me, you probably would have believed it. That's how bad they talked about me. Why am I having this conversation again? Because I want people to understand that no matter what happens, my drive for justice, hashtag Justice for Angie Stone, started with me saying it. The whole Angie Stone sector, don't get it twisted. You see everybody talking about it, but nobody. I'm sorry about that. Somebody just called me. Nobody was talking about this when I started talking about it. Not like how I was talking. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was even concerned. I was. At the beginning, I was concerned because it didn't make sense. So what people did was they took everything I said, like I was saying earlier before I got interrupted with somebody calling. I was telling you that the reason I started the conversation about Angie is because somebody messaged my inbox, and this is what they said. You'll be surprised some of the crazy stuff people say. They said to me, hey man, did you do that to Angie? Hey man, did you take her money? Give her money back. Why did you do that to her? Why did you? And I was like, what are you talking about? I said, man, you don't even know me. I didn't do anything to Angie. Yeah, she mentioned your name. You're part of the diesel crew. I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know Angie had mentioned my name. The person sent me the video. I went and watched it. And then I understood why Angie kept telling me, did you see my YouTube, Stoney? And I said, no, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it. Now, Angie had called probably, I don't know, this might have been 2 months before she passed, maybe 3 months at the most. And she told me that she was going to do a video talking about the music industry and naming certain names. I told her not to. I even told her, let me put my brother on the phone and call him and tell him what you're thinking about doing. I already knew he was going to say no. So we called him on three-way. And he told her absolutely not. He said, no. He said, Ans, don't do that. He said, right now we're in the middle of getting your money back. We're in the middle of setting up this residency for Vegas. Please don't do that. Now, what we didn't know is that she had went ahead. She went forward and she did it anyway. She did it anyway. Because I wasn't watching her channel. And I wasn't watching, he wasn't watching her channel. But was I upset with her for doing that? I mean, I couldn't be upset with her when she was gone, but I had to respect why she felt like she had to do that, even though we told her not to. I had to respect why she felt like she had to do that. There was a reason. Her spirit pushed her to do that. Her spirit told her, now is the time. Speak your piece. I could not be mad at her, even though I wanted to be upset when she passed because we asked her not to do that. And I was like, God, how come she didn't listen to me? How come she didn't listen to us? I was upset about it. But you know what? I had to understand her mission was to tell the truth about what happened in her business and how she had been taken for money. I knew about it. We talked about it. Her mission was to tell so that other artists don't have to go through what she went through. She wanted the world to know what she went through. And so I had to stop being mad because I wanted her to still be here. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt like if she didn't say that, maybe she would have still been here. That's the way I was thinking, right? Like sometimes we can be selfish and we want people to still be here for us. But she had a bigger purpose. And that purpose was to educate the younger generation, educate her own kids about this business. And maybe they will wake up and start doing things the way they should. So I had to look at that and I had to go, you know what, Stoney? Then I started dissecting why she mentioned my name. So it scared me that she mentioned my name because I already knew that people were going to take that out of context because the person that messaged me already did. So then I was like, I got to get ahead of this. Donnie D, absolutely. She did have an idea. We had had a lot of conversations about different stuff. We just didn't want her to get online talking about it. But she had to do what she felt like was right for her spirit, right? So I had to get ahead of this situation because I knew if that person was thinking of me in a derogatory way because my name was mentioned in conjunction, in conjunction with the diesel crew, I knew that somebody else was going to look at it the same way and do the same thing that person did and just add extra. So what did I do? I started these videos, a series of videos called Why Angie Stone Mentioned My Name, because I wanted to get ahead of it and explain to people what my involvement was and why she mentioned my name. Thinking I was doing the right thing. I went into doing this and people tore me apart, you guys. I think I cried a few times about how people did me because people never contacted me and asked me questions. They never tried to talk to me and say, hey, Stone, can I pick your brain, man? Like, why would she mention your name? Nobody did that. They just assumed, oh, he's got to be involved. He's got to be involved. She mentioned his name. She said diesel crew. A diesel hit the van. So I just had to be involved because I was mentioned in conjunction with that. Was it weird that she said that and then a diesel did hit the truck? I mean, that wasn't the final reason what happened, but diesel was a part of that whole situation. Was that strange to me? Goddamn, for sure it was. It was completely strange to me. I didn't even know what to think. I thought, like, how crazy is that when she mentioned that, and then that was part of that scenario when it all played out. It freaked me out. It made me freaked out. I was like, yo, that shit was crazy. But I didn't know anything about that. Lady of Elegance said, Mr. Stone, you told the truth the entire time. Honest people always get hurt. I'm sorry. Yes. Unfortunately, when people tell the truth, they don't always end up with the a big truth party, right? Sometimes it's usually the opposite. So I can only tell my truth with that situation. People called me. I got people stalked me. They called my phone day and night. Messages, emails, people saying crazy things to me. My phone ringing constantly. This is what I went through. And I want you guys to understand. Probably the average person that would have broke them down. The average person would have went through something psychologically that could have disconnected them just from being harassed the way I was harassed. Hey, Cherry, hold up. The truck had brown sugar on it. Wow. I like Paperwork TV. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the shit he do is funny as hell. But some of the things he says, I don't know. It has me. I don't know. I just be like, I don't know, man. Listen, I don't even bother his channel. I just let him do him because that's his channel. But at some point, we got to be held accountable for the things we say. A truck that said brown sugar on it. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I didn't see it. I'd love to see that evidence. Dolores said, Draper said, I tried to knock him down, but it's people like his supporters who support the truth and none of the mess supporters who support the truth. I'm confused with that one. People like his supporters who support the truth and none of the mess. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I look at Paperwork's channel as pure entertainment. I mean, although he does say some things that are facts, there's things I know what things he says are true. But I like it. It's entertainment. Like at first, when I was being, when it was messing with me, I was real pissed. But when I saw the entertainment sector to his channel, I said, oh, he's just doing what he does. It's entertainment. And some of the shit is funny. But I don't play with people's lives. Like I would not mess with a person if I don't know if what I'm saying is the truth about anybody on this live. I'm not going to get on there and talk about you unless I have receipts of the truth. Because other than that, it's just talking. And any of us can get online and talk about people and make up anything. Nobody's obsolete from anyone just making up a story about you that's not true. Question is, are you going to believe it? Now, it's crazy with the whole popular opinion shit, how people just believe and they accuse people before they're even convicted by a jury. People have already decided who they feel are already guilty of something just off of the fact that they just want to believe it. Especially in our community. And Pookie call you and say somebody down the street, something happened to him, you're going to believe him for face value because that's Pookie from the corner block. And he always down the street at the corner block so he know everything going on. You're going to take it for face value. Pookie can't be lying. But Pookie probably wasn't even there because somebody told him what happened. But you trusted Pookie because you know he's always on the corner block. That kind of stuff. In our community, we're a word of mouth community. Soon as a black person do something that make money, every other black person do it. Tell me I'm not. Tell me I'm not lying. Tracy said Angie danced to her own tune. They wanted to mock her. Yes, the 18-wheeler, her diesel crew 18-wheeler full of sugar and those creepy demonic roses shaped like a truck at her funeral. Yes, it was a lot of symbolism and symbolic things connected to this, which I will say is strange. Even the fact of me being called Stone and she's Angie Stone. Even the fact that Angie and I talked to Angie years ago. Angie did the Hoodie Awards 2010 in Vegas. So I talked to her about initially doing a song. That's when I met her. I wanted, let's do a song. She said, okay, talk to my manager at the time. I think the guy was her husband. But whoever this person was, I think it was, he wasn't really trying to vibe with me. And so when it never happened, long story short. So fast forward to the future, I end up handling her business, setting up this Vegas thing, collecting her royalties, getting a hold of trying to get all that right. And we were in the process. Her and I had a conversation about that. And she said, whatever happened to that song you wanted me to do? I said, oh, don't worry about it, Stoney. We'll get to it. Right now, let's just make sure everything's right with you. And then she wanted to know what happened. I said, well, I contacted your manager like you told me to, because she was all about doing things in order. Like she wanted to respect her team. So I said, I called him, I emailed him, and I called him, and he just never responded. And I told him I talked to you, and he just never responded back. She said, really? I said, yeah, that was it. But look how the universe works. The universe still put me right back in her life. Stony and Stony. It put me right back in her life. This time, not for a duet, but for something totally different. For me to be head on involved with her business. I didn't even see that. I could never have seen that coming. I never imagined that I would have been helping Angie Stone with the most, how can I say, it would have been the most pivotal thing in her career history. And it would have went down in history with her residency in Vegas. Do you understand how big that would have been? Do you understand how powerful that was going to be? I could have got online and bragged many times talking to Angie. She said, go ahead, baby. You could tell people you working with me. I said, no, 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 no. I don't want nobody to know. Until that day, we're sitting next to each other at the casino, whatever casino it's going to be, and you're signing at the press release, and we're talking, and I'm next to you, and the cameras is taking pictures. We have made history. I just made history with you. I told her I don't want nobody to know. Now, a few of my friends in my circle knew. Few industry people knew, but the public didn't know. I never talked about it. So when people start talking about I was using Angie, make the fuck up out of here with that bullshit. If I wanted to, I could have been talking about what I was doing from the beginning, and I didn't. So that should show you how humble I was about the whole situation. I didn't tell nobody except for a small circle of people within the music industry knew. Because I put her on the phone with them and she spoke to them. She said hello to different people that I was dealing with. So nobody, the public didn't know what I was doing. That should show you how humble I was, that I didn't even share that information with anybody. Monsieur said, cool dude, Stone. I'm a subscriber. Your lives are amazing. You're absolutely right. The math, not mathing. When it comes to her absence, I miss her. Justice for Angie Stone, Queen Neo Soul. Monsieur. Thank you, Monsieur. Thank you. I appreciate you. Who needs to be kicked out? What's going on, you guys? Who needs to be kicked out? Tell me, I didn't even see what's going on. What's going on? What did Curtis say? Just tell me what Curtis said. I don't even know who it was. Say something. Can't say something about my hair. It's covered up today. What Curtis say today? What they be saying, man? People just be saying all kinds of stuff. Jonan said, I just miss her energy. Hearing about the accident made me ask questions, and you were the only one questioning it as well. Yes. I, you know, um, yeah, the whole thing is still strange and weird. And we're still gonna get to the bottom of a lot of things. It's not over yet, you guys. The autopsy made no sense. We all know that. What did that guy say? We all know that autopsy has a lot of holes in it. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing with that autopsy seems to make any sense to me. And I looked at it, and when I first posted it, nobody had posted. There's only 3 people that had that autopsy. So anybody else tell you they had it, they didn't. It was me, Storm, and Paperwork. So all the other people try to tell you I had it first and we posted the autopsy first. They're full of shit. I'm telling you, don't let them fool you. I saw one content creator trying to talk about another content creator saying she had the autopsy and she was the first one posted it. She's alive. She didn't have it first. She couldn't have gotten it. I'm just telling you, she couldn't have gotten it. Not at that time. So believe me, the autopsy report made no sense. Olivera, you're just now really getting into more of her music, right? The silence, I appreciate you. And you know what? I'm doing it for Angie because this is what she would have wanted me to do. Let me tell you what Angie was planning. Real Life Chronicles. Thank you. Melissa, Justice for Angie Stone said, I just want people to know her children are grieving and need to be respected. Some CCs dragged them. Melissa, so let me share with you something. I agree with you with that. But let me share something else with you too. Diamond actually was telling, like, I got an email with somebody. This is the reason you saw me talking about Diamond the way I was talking about her. Another content creator shared an email with me, and Diamond had said some derogatory stuff about me. She said I was lying. Now, let me ask you guys a question, and I want you to really think about what I'm about to say. Would I go this long lying about something that I know clearly I am putting my name on the line, not just as a person, but as somebody in the music industry, as somebody that's respected by people in the music industry, as somebody that's known by people in the music industry, as somebody that is highly respected by all my peers? Would I really put my name on something and keep talking about it if I'm lying? I was the first person to start talking about this shit. I don't know why she would say that I was lying, but she never said what I'm lying about because I'm not lying. See, what it is Shayna's in her ear. Even though she says Shayna's not running anything with the family, she's full of shit. So when I went on live and talked about Diamond, it's because Diamond was nowhere around when we were doing the business with Angie. I never heard her voice. She was never in the background. She never got on the phone. She never knew shit that was going on. Ever. I'm telling you that. The only person that was there during that whole period of us handling all that business and setting everything up for Vegas as well as the royalties was Michael. Michael was the only one that got on the phone that had questions, and Angie would say to me, Stoney, Michael once got a question for you, baby. I said, okay, put him on the phone. And he would ask me questions about the contracts. He would ask me questions about Vegas, and I say, oh, yeah, Mike, no, this works like that. That works like that. Paperwork's like, yeah, take a look at it. No, it's good. Everything known. I'm glad you're asking questions. He was the only one concerned. Diamond was nowhere. So now you're not hearing this from no other CCs out there. You're hearing it from Stone because I was in the thick of it. Diamond was nowhere to be found. So for her to get online and say, I'm lying, she's just trying to control some narrative that I think Shayna is behind having her say that, because Shayna's not going to get online and say I'm lying. Because guess what? Shayna was on those phone calls too. Shayna was sitting right there every day I talked to Angie. Shayna was in the meetings when I would be handling business in the team. Shayna would be on the phone. Notice Shayna ain't saying it, but Shayna's putting her up to say it just to throw people off the path. Why do I need to lie? I'm not getting a check for lying. I'm not making no money for lying. So why do I need to lie? That's why I had to go in on Diamond. So when I went in on Diamond, then she called her dad. When I did that one video, Angie Stone's daughter, the diamond is not a stone. I don't know what she told her dad, y'all. I really don't know. I don't know what she said. I just know the nigga contacted me. And his text was rather, let's just say you would have taken it as a personal threat. I even texted him back and said, is this a threat? Because the way he said, stop talking about my daughter or else you got to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. Right? And I read it and then I called him. But when I called him, I had Meech on the phone with me, right? So it went to the left because Meech did not like how he was trying to disrespect me. Now you got to remember, that guy knows that Randy guy, Rodney, doesn't even know me, but him and I have the same people in common. So I say that to him on the phone. I said, man, we know the same people. No, actually, I texted to him. I said, we know some of the same people. After he disrespected me on the phone with Meech on the phone, it went to a whole nother place because he was actually telling me shit like this. And I'm only explaining this to you so you understand if there are some CCs really going hard on Diamond, it's because of her inconsistencies with her mouth. That's the only reason they would be doing that. So look at how she called her dad. What could she say to her dad to make a grown man come and defend his grown daughter when I never disrespected her? Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Melissa, fuck you. No disrespect. But you can get off my channel with that bullshit. Stop acting like they babies. That's a grown-ass woman who chose to get online and talk shit about me. I didn't say nothing about that girl. And you still missing the point. You want to sit here and tell me how vulnerable they are. They ain't that goddamn vulnerable. They got criminals around them. How fucking vulnerable is that? Fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. How vulnerable is that? They got criminals around them. They got criminals that was stealing from their mom. And you gonna tell me they vulnerable? Fuck you. You don't know shit. Vulnerable. My fucking ass, man. Vulnerable. Fuck that shit. Vulnerability comes with an understanding of being able to listen to those that are trying to give you advice. So if they are vulnerable, it's vulnerable by choice. Educate yourself, man. Fuck you talking about vulnerable. They choose to be vulnerable. God damn it. Fuck you talking about, man. You talking to somebody that know what the fuck's going on, and you gonna get on here talking about, oh, the kids are vulnerable. No, your ass is vulnerable for believing that shit. Shit. Fuck you talking about, man. Excuse me, man. Excuse my language. I just don't like when people come in here making them. These are grown folks. I think we're forgetting these are not kids anymore. These are adults. Let's start there first. These are grown adults that wipe their ass on their own with no help. If you can do drugs, drink, kick it, party, talk shit, you're a grown up. Even though we got little kids to do that too, but they are full grown up. Stop calling them kids. And the only thing they're vulnerable to is the fact that they don't fucking listen. That's what they're vulnerable to. They don't listen. Their vulnerability for listening it doesn't exist. Yeah, Holly, that's bullshit. All of it is a bunch of bullshit, Holly. Holly said, exactly. She said Shayna didn't work for them, and she said she was not Michael's girlfriend. She and Michael had a whole another girlfriend, so that makes it even more strange. Let me tell y'all something. Shayna will fuck a bird with a dick. Sorry, I'm telling you. I don't think, I watched a video with her flirting with some dude that walked through a restaurant. When I first met her, Let me tell you why I stopped talking about it. Let me tell you what happened. When Shayna first met me via Angie, she ended up talking to me and she said some weird shit. She said, "Oh, I hope I'm not being disrespectful." She kind of looks like trying to put a little Mack on me, right? And I'm looking at her swag and how she was running her play. And then she ran the words like, "I hope I'm not being disrespectful by saying this to you, but you remind me of somebody that I used to date, and you remind me of it, and you remind me of." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "That's what's up." I said, "Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment." Kimberly said Shayna's doing the same thing that Whitney Houston's sister-in-law was doing coming in. When it's time for her to come in, she ain't going to send what? She's when it's time for her to come in, she ain't going to. She's gonna sit in the back. I think that's what you were saying. Listen, so we stayed on the phone, no bullshit. Cause she played me her music. I listened to her music. We stayed on the phone probably about an hour. I ain't gonna bullshit y'all. But it wasn't on nothing else. But the next day, I get a call from Angie and she said, "Yeah, Stoney, I heard you and my girl was on the phone for some hours. What's up with that?" I said, "Oh, nah." I said, "Stoney," I said, "Angie, I said, "I don't like that girl." She said, "That's not what she told me." I said, "No, no, 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 no." I said, "It was not like that." I said, "I listened to her music. I talked to her. She seemed like a cool person. I listened to her music. We talked about business and other stuff. And we talked about the stuff that we're working on." But she made Angie somehow think that I was liking her or some shit. Make that shit had me sick to my motherfucking stomach. So I got mad about it. Then it turned out into some other shit because Angie told Juanita about it, right? And then some other shit happened. So I cut Shayna off from the beginning, like mid-flight. The only time I would talk to Shayna when we had meetings, but I didn't want to fuck with her because I already recognized that she was a liar. She had Angie thinking like I was liking her or some shit, right? So I told Angie, I said, "I don't have shit to say to her no more, Angie." Angie said, "Oh, Stoney, talk to her." And then I said, "Nah," I said, "Honestly, I don't like dealing with people that operate that way, twist the game up, right?" So Angie calls me. Shayna's mother passed away. Angie calls me. She say, Did you hear about what happened?" I said, "No, Stoney." She say, "Shayna's mother passed away." And I said, "Oh, send her my condolences." I said, "Send her my condolences." I said, "Damn." But I think Stoney, Angie wanted me to call her and try to, because one thing about Angie, when she had a team of people, she don't like people in her circle fight. She wants everybody to get along. So Angie was trying to get me to speak to her again. And I said, "Well, listen, send her my condolences." She said, "You should reach out to her." I said, "No, no, no, just please just let her know I send my condolences." So one day I called her, maybe a week later. Angie and I were talking. People just love calling me when I'm on a live. People love calling me when I'm on a live. Can y'all hear me still? Because sometimes a live it'll fuck up my audio. You guys hear me okay? Let me know before I get started again. Y'all hear me good? Okay. So like a week later, Angie calls me and we're talking about Vegas and some other stuff. And she said, I said, how's Shayna doing, right? And she said, "Oh, she doing all right. She's still dealing with her mom." Now, I didn't know she was standing there listening. I didn't even know Angie had the phone on speaker. She was standing there listening, right? I didn't even know. This is how I found out. When Angie passed, Shayna and I hadn't spoken up until that day. Then when Angie passed, then we had a conversation. She said, "Yeah, Angie told me that you had asked about my mom." I was like, "Really?" Stoney called. I'm surprised. I can't believe, I was like, "Oh, he really do care." I said, "No, I was just calling just to make sure you was good. I lost my mom too. I don't be going too deep with that shit." So I said, "I was sending my condolences to you out of respect." She said, "Yeah, I heard, I was standing there listening and I heard you talking." I was like, "Oh, it was on speaker." I was like, wow. So that's how we started back talking when Angie passed. Because I had stopped talking. to her because she was messy. And I recognized that earlier on. I didn't want to deal with, I don't like dealing with messy women or messy men. As soon as I think a person is messy, I cut them off. I don't want to get down like that. So she was a messy person. So I know how she operates. I saw her try to turn Angie against Ashton. I saw her try to turn Angie against Juanita. She was doing that. This is what's happening in real time. So when Diamond gets on there and start talking all that shit, Diamond wasn't around for a lot of this shit. Y'all need to understand that. Diamond was not around for a lot of this shit that was going on in preparations of Las Vegas and in preparations of her. That's why she's so discombobulated and confused. Don't know shit. So whatever she told her dad, this dude hit me up on some like, I'm gonna punk this little nigga Stone out. That's the way he came at me. Now he tells me, he on the phone with Meech and I, he says, when I call you, man, he said, I called you twice because Meech was letting them talk. We were letting them talk. I said, okay. He said, yeah. And then you hung up both times. I said, okay. He said, yeah. And then the second time I said, Mr. Paxton. I said, and? He said, and then you should have said something. I said, no. If I don't know who the fuck you are, I don't have to say shit. So he was really trying to tell me that I should have answered my phone because he said, I need to speak to Mr. Paxton. By the way, he never once mentioned his name. He never said, hi, this is Rodney. This is Diamond's father. Had he said that, I would have said, hey, Rodney, how you doing? How can I help you? He never said who he was. So I hung the motherfucking phone up twice. So the third time when I called is when all the shit hit the fan. And the way he was talking to me, Meech did not like the way he was talking to me. So Meech went in on him. And it turned into some gangster shit. And he ended up hanging up the phone on us. That's how it really went. You see, I don't think Diamond realized when she made the call how connected to people I am. I got relationships with people. I respect people. People respect me. Stone ain't no gangster. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not none of that. I'm a recording artist who makes great music. But I will get in the ring with you. I'll squab it out. I don't care how big or small you are. I got heart. I've been fighting all my life. I'll get in the ring. We're going to have a face up. That's what I do, like I do music. But I'm not a tough guy. So I don't talk that tough guy shit. Until people talk that shit to me, then I gotta stand up for myself. You guys, you understand? So then we get off the phone. I'm thinking it's over with, right? Because he said something to me. Meech said something to him. He texts me back and tells me, something like I'm simple-minded or I'm small-minded. That's what he says because I let Meech talk. Well, when you got two people yelling, I let Meech do his thing. I wasn't going to cut Meech off. I was like, oh, Meech was handling his shit. He had disrespected Meech, and I said, let Meech handle his shit, right? So I say to him, nah, bro, small-minded. I said, laughing out loud, you got me twisted. I said, I'm going to tell you what I told another content creator. I said, nigga, we can get in that ring, though. Like all that tough guy shit don't matter. Let's come to Vegas. Let's get in the ring. All that talking, I'm not going to do all the talking because everybody want to be tough on the internet or on the phone. I said, let's get in the ring. Let's turn this into something. I said, let's give, just like I tell everybody else, let's give the money to the family. See, when you tell a person let's gets in the ring, you'll notice all that tough shit goes out the door because the ring is not what they do, but they do this. Now, I don't have no problem with Rodney. And I also said to him, if your daughter keeps talking shit about me, I'm going to continue to talk shit about her. And that's a fact, period. And ain't nothing you can do about that. That's a grown-ass woman. She knows what she's doing when she does it. Why did she even call you? Why did she call daddy, y'all? It's supposed to be a grown woman. So we had to put that fire out. Then I had people from New York calling me that knew him, that know me and that know him. And they was trying to figure out what happened. Stone, what did he say to you? Why he bothering you? I said, I don't know. Y'all call that motherfucking ask him why. I don't even know the dude. So that is exactly my point. There's only 6 degrees of separation between any relationship as far as people being related to a person or people knowing somebody. Remember that. So when you disrespect people, you don't know who they know. You don't know who's connected to them. This is why I don't disrespect people. If I don't want to deal with them, I just cut them off. I'm not gonna say nothing crazy to you because if you didn't do nothing to me, I have no reason to say nothing crazy to you. I don't create battles that I can't fight. I don't go out and just create battles, man. I love dealing with people in a cordial way and respectful because I don't know what man or woman can do to anybody. So I do not test people. But see, we don't. People these days don't think that way. This internet has made people think that they're tough and they can get down and they can go after anybody and they can battle people and they can whoop their butts, man, whatever they want, man. This internet got people on this cloud like they, this tough thing. I don't even know why. Because the real tough people don't say stuff. The real tough people don't say nothing. They just leave it as is and they laugh at it. But when you're making threats to a person that's never done anything to you, what's the reason? Oh, I know. I could go deeper with this. I could tell you everything Angie told me about her baby's fathers and how they weren't there for their kids and how they didn't do shit. This is what she told me. Now, I was going to say that shit to him on the phone, but Meech beat me to it. Meech said some shit to him that fucked his head up. Oh, Meech went right into his brain and into his soul with the shit he said. Meech got him good. So I didn't have to say it. Why would you assume? So I say this to him. I said, listen, man, the diamond is not a stone, it's a metaphor. I said, you're a writer like I'm a writer. Like, you, come on, bro, it's a metaphor. I wasn't saying she ain't your daughter. That's some dumb shit. So smart, but dumb. Because you'll have people can be so intelligent, but they dumb. Common sense dumb. So for him to just assume that and to even hit me up, then he told me he never even watched the video. I was done. I said, you didn't watch the video? He said, no. I was, that was it for me. I said, man, the conversation's over with. Dolores, let me tell you something. Meech is a good guy, but Meech don't play the fuck around. And I'm just being 100 with you. He a good guy. He'll give the shirt off of his back, but he don't play no games. And he don't play with people fucking with his family and his circle. He expects people to respect like he respects. See, I'm a little bit like it takes a lot to get me going. Meech's attitude to me is like, Stone, don't let nobody fuck you over. You didn't dealt with this shit too long. You don't let nobody just come in and talk shit to you. And he's right. He don't tolerate that shit at all, at no level. You understand? But we balance each other out. That's why he'll calm me down, and then I'll calm him down. You feel what I'm saying? That's my brother, man. Let me tell you something. We should have been real brothers, because he acts like one of my real brothers, man. Real solid. Tinkerbell, absolutely. Let me see if I can get Meech. Well, damn, I should have sent Meech this live, but I think he's busy because I called him earlier. He didn't call back, so he might still be in the studio working. That's why I didn't bring him in. Maybe I can get him on later and we'll chop it up again. But listen, so when it comes to this Angie Stone stuff, I went hard. I'm still going hard. We know this autopsy is not making any sense. Ain't no need for us to even try to understand it. The shit is painted. The shit is painted. Literally, it's painted to the narrative of whatever they want it to be. Sadai Ali, thank you. Sadai Ali said, I can tell about Meech. He reminds me of my uncle. Yeah. Meech is like DJ 360. Now, I know you got to know I'm on my live, bro. I know you got to know I'm on my live. You follow my YouTube. I'll call you when I get off, family. You got to know I'm on my live. Listen, Meech is like that big brother, that uncle that don't take no shit. And if you get beat up, if you go somewhere and get beat up, he gonna go back with you and make sure you take care of business. If somebody mess with you and you come home crying, he's gonna be like, "Let's get in the car. We going back down there. You better take care of them, or I'm gonna make sure you gonna be taken care of." He's that kind of big brother. He'll be that kind of big brother to people, or that kind of uncle, or that kind of father. That's Meech, man. Donna D said, "So, was there a reason that you did make that statement that a diamond is not a stone? If you don't mind me asking." Donna D, why do you think I made that statement? Since you're asking me, and let me ask you the question. Why do you think I made that statement? The diamond is not a stone. Why do you think I made that statement? You know what a metaphor is, right? Do you write songs for a living? You know what a metaphor is, right? Why do you think I made that statement? If you don't mind me asking. Connie, thank you, Connie. Shy Hayes says, man, I'm 57, still can get in a tank top. Hey, Shy, listen, I'm 55, man. Come on, we gotta rock them tank tops, bro. Come on, man. You already know, man. We still got it. We gotta rock them like the young dudes do. We gotta let them know he's got it, man. Hey, Donna D, I'm still waiting for your answer. Why do you think I said it? Why do you think I said it, Donna? I'm waiting. If you know what a metaphor is, you should be able to tell me why you think I said it. I don't have to explain to you why I said it, because if you understand a metaphor, there's your answer. But I want to see why you think I said it. Betty Sanders said that was a metaphor. I knew that as soon as I read it. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Betty. To our common sense folks out here, what did grandma and mom used to say when we was growing up? You better have some common sense, right? Aren't black folks raised on that? Are we not raised on, boy, you better have some girl, you better have some common sense. But sense is not common. Donna D said, but I was kind of thinking that you might have been wanting him to pick up on that. Donna, how do I say this without being disrespectful to you? So I'm trying to say it as light as I can. Fuck you. This had nothing to do with her father. And I'm going to say this to you again, Donna. Fuck you again. This had nothing to do with her dad. So get the fuck off here with that bullshit. It's people like you on the internet, the reason why people do fucked up shit. Because you come in the comment section and say the stupidest shit. What's your IQ? How did you get and not see that was a metaphor? I said nothing about her fucking father. Tax Jordan said the government wants to get rid of all the sense. Absolutely. Donna, get out of here with that retarded shit. I'm gonna say, get out of here with that retarded shit. Stop saying that shit again, or I'm just gonna block you indefinitely. Like, come in here with some common sense. If you're gonna talk, just have a clear mind, some common sense shit. And if you don't know what common sense means, get a dictionary, look that fucking shit up. Answer twice, but your reaction is giving me my answer. Exactly. Get the fuck out of here. And you should know the answer right when you saw the fucking post. There's other people knew what it meant. Why you didn't understand it? Did you graduate? What was your last grade you graduated from? Were you good in school in reading and comprehension? They called it reading and comprehension for a reason. They put it together. Reading and comprehension. They put it together for a reason. Exactly. Wow. That's how I feel when you ask that dumbass question. Wow. Now, with that said, I'm gonna wow your ass up out of this room. Moderator, get fucking rid of Donna. I got time for that shit. Yeah, laughing out loud my ass, Donna. You won't be on this page laughing out loud, motherfucker, no more. Laughing out loud. Laugh at that, motherfucker. You're gone. Now that's funny. Now that's funny. Laugh at that shit, Donna. How about that? We ain't playing over here. You get on this channel, come in here with some common sense. I don't mind you asking questions. Don't ask me dumb shit. Because black people are smarter than that. We're smarter. I mean, we vibrate. We're sharper than that. So come on here and ask questions that make sense. When you get on here with the dumb shit, I'm gonna treat you like a dumb, a bobble-headed dumb. And you just got blocked. So there you go. Laugh at that shit. Marilyn says, Stone, is it possible this was just an accident? What was an accident? What happened to Angie, you're saying? If so, there is something deep to that too. Marilyn, there's something deep to that too. Because There's some things that I know that it could have possibly been an accident, but here's the thing. When you add up the scenarios, there's people still involved with trying to get that money, the royalties. So then that makes it not look like an accident. You get what I'm saying? Because those same people are still involved with trying to have their hands in on some money. So it could have been an accident, but then why are those people still trying to have their hands in on the money? I'm just saying something just don't make sense to me. Curie, it's not adding up at all. You can't have the same people that are involved with the accident say it's an accident, and then they're still involved with the money or trying to be involved with the money. Ain't making sense. You see what I'm saying? It's just kind of weird. Sam A. Morton says, Stone, what happened to Angie's assistant? Okay. Sam A., listen. They got rid of, listen, Angie's assistant had been around her for 20 something years, 25 years. They got rid of the assistant the first week, the first day, first 2 days. They didn't want the assistant even at the house. Now, I'll say this to you without saying too much. Price has said if they weren't successful that time, they would have tried again. Absolutely. So let's get back to the assistant. The assistant was the one that did the will. I'm not going to mention the name, but the assistant was the one that put the will together. That's why I told everybody. Nobody was talking about the will. I was the one to tell everybody there was a will. Angie just never signed it. It was delivered to her at the house, and she never signed it. We're thinking because Shayna convinced her not to sign it. The assistant put the will together. The assistant was also the one that helped save the house, that helped it refinance the house, that got the house refinanced. The assistant was like Angie's best friend. Like, for real, as the young folks say. The assistant doesn't want to speak. Trust me, I've asked the assistant to speak. The assistant does not want to speak. I've asked. I said, "You going to speak?" The assistant is not ready. Maybe one day the assistant will speak, but the assistant does not want to speak. Good person, great, extraordinary person, powerful, spiritually, personality on point. Did a lot of shit for Angie, was the one behind a lot of the business that y'all probably didn't even know. Well, now we ain't talking about Ashton. Ashton hasn't spoken either. We talking about the real assistant that had been with her for years. The assistant was on the original will, right? The will that was made. Somehow Shayna convinced Angie not to sign it. I think Shayna didn't want the assistant to be involved because if something happened to Angie, they knew the assistant was going to come in and make sure that shit was right and make sure everything went right because the assistant name was on it to make sure that everything went right with the state in case something happened. So, of course, that will never got signed. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Leanne said, was there a person married named Tay that knew Angie? Just wondering. Rosa said, I don't think it was an accident. Nothing adds up. Um, Leanne Newman. Certain names I can't say right now, and there's reasons I can't, but I have an answer for you. Let's just say I have some answers for you. I just can't, certain stuff I can't say right now. Still, because this is still supposedly an open investigation. Rosa, to me, it wasn't an accident. Partial accident seemed to be partial plan. Those are my thoughts. I'm just telling you what's in my mind. That's all I'm saying, right? Tracy said that person sounds legit. He's scared. Absolutely. Listen, the real assistant is a good person, but he does not want to speak. And when he didn't want to speak, it kind of freaked me out. Kimberly Barrett said, okay, now I see what the jealousy, animosity comes from with Shayna. Shayna is trying to be over everything now because she might have been just of the assistant, and Angie, she wants to shine now. Well, Shayna really wasn't the assistant, even though she was making people think she was. She wasn't an assistant. She was just kind of like the social media person. The NTSB should definitely investigate, but think about this. Tiara said, did Dana Stacks steal Angie's royalties? Tiara, I'm going to touch your face. Warm touch. Listen, there's a recording. And in the state of Nevada, if you're involved in a conversation, by law, you guys can go look it up. As long as you're involved with that conversation, you can record it by law. As long as you are involved with that meeting or that conversation legally, you can record it. There's a few recordings I have. One that Angie told me to record. Okay. Another one was our last conversation with my brother, Dana Staggs. I brought Shayna in on the phone and Michael in, and I think Diamond might have been there to listen to this call because this was after Angie passed. When I tell you this phone call was a very interesting phone call, I don't know when I'm going to release that audio, but people need to hear the audio. You guys know how I operate. I didn't mention names in the very beginning. People beat up on me because I wasn't saying names. There's a reason, there's a timing for everything. You don't just put all your cards out on the table. I am going to eventually play that. I don't know when, and I can't promise you when, but I will tell you this. When you hear this phone call, it's going to blow you guys' mind because there were so many things said in this phone call that had me confused. And even when I said to the person, hey, man, what she said, you were stealing her royalties. We just telling you what she said. And this person said, no, I'm being set up. I thought that was a very interesting word. Being a legal person that this person is. Okay, this person is a legal person. So being that this person said that I am being set up, I felt like it was a weird choice of words because this person is a pretty sharp person. But when they said that, it just kind of threw me. I'm like, why would somebody set you up? But that's what the person said. I'm just telling you what they said. Said they were being set up. And, that's what they told us on the phone. I wasn't the only one on that phone call. And then that same person said, I don't have to give y'all shit. Only in the end of the phone call to say to us, listen, show me the paperwork you guys have representing Angie, and I'll give you guys the person that I know where her publishing is, and then I'll give you who the person is, and you can yell at them. Now I'm gonna let you hear this conversation, so you see that I'm not bullshit. You'll see that I'm not making this up. Sadai said, I don't like this for Angie Stone. You're a good friend. Sadai, thank you. All I have left to give Angie is the truth that I shared with her, the truth that she shared with me, the truth that we shared together because I was helping her with her business. So this phone call is absolutely crazy. By the end, I say to this person, I said, listen, I want to put Shayna on the phone. She has a few words to say to you. So Shayna gets on the phone. He doesn't like Shayna at all. They kind of start going at it. Then my brother has to kind of bring it back and tell him that he don't like how he talks to ladies, right? And it calms down a little bit. And he says, well, it's her, it's not me. And then Shayna goes in on him, says what she has to say, same shit I've been saying. She says what she has to say to him. Phone call didn't end on a good note because it ended with Shayna basically telling him he's full of shit and he's a liar. Now, I find that interesting because now that I see all this other shit going on, she fits in the same boat as he does. But I let them go at it. I let those two go at it. You guys hear the phone call. When I decide to share this, I won't have to say anything. You'll be able to replay it over and over again and listen to it as much as you want. And you can dissect the conversation, and you're able to put together what you think is the truth or that person's involvement. You will hear me on the phone call talking. My brother, you're not going to hear him, but you'll hear me and that gentleman talking, and you're going to hear Shayna talking. Yeah. Jennifer K, what's the laughing faces about? Kimberly, absolutely, Kimberly. Yes, Teresa, she did, man. Listen, if you know Angie, she'll put you to work. She's put us to work spiritually, and she's not going to be at rest until this situation is solved one way or the other. I'm just so surprised that Darlene, thank you. Darlene says, and there will be a moment for you to reveal the call. God will grant you the moment. Absolutely. Melody Dyer said, Angie had figured out she couldn't trust her immediate circle. That's why she came to Mpxone. Thank God she did, or she wouldn't have had anyone to find the truth. Kimberly said, has not been forgotten. She has not been forgotten. Sheila, I will. But I want to know right now, it's Jennifer K lady. Jennifer, you're a member. I just want to know what the smiling face is. That's all. Um, listen, you guys. I thought about that many times. Angie already had a circle. She didn't need me in her circle. Angie didn't need me in her circle. She probably could have called, not probably, Angie could have called 50 other people to help her with the Vegas residency. She could have called 50 other people to help her with her royalty collection. I've been trying to figure out why she called me, and I believe what you just said. I think she knew that I wouldn't give up the fight. I think she knew in her spirit that I was chosen as the one just to stand in and say what I'm saying and to push other people to keep going and don't stop. Because if you can remember the beginning of this Angie Stone stuff, the media talked about it maybe all bit of maybe 2 days, and that was it. And then I went on the YouTube movement. So many times I wonder if I had not spoken and shared the information that I knew, my information sparked other people to talk. Think about it, you guys. Everything I shared gave people content to go talk. Other than that, it would have been people trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. I gave people solid stuff to go look for. And I started the hashtag Angie Stone for Angie Stone. Hashtag justice for Angie Stone. Because I knew that it was going to take this and for me to stretch out my videos to put focus on it for people to pay attention, and it worked. Look at the conversation we've been having. Look at the other content creators. Paperwork Party TV and Storm, and you got that. And you got Danny, Danny D. I think it's Dan. What's your name, Danny? Danny is doing it. She's been talking about it. So all the content creators have been speaking about. Oh, can't forget Tough News. Definitely can't forget Tough News, because Tough News actually jumped on it. When I did it, he grabbed my stuff and he shared it. He was passionate about it. So I should have made him at the top of that list first. He was actually the first one that took my stuff and started promoting it and sharing it. So I cannot forget Tough News. I'm going to tell you why he's so important to the ecosystem. I don't care what nobody say about Tough News. Anybody ever said anything bad about him, I'm going to go at them for him, because that's a good dude. That's a good dude. He doesn't change the narrative. He will take what you have and he'll leave you to figure out. Now, if he has an opinion about it, he will tell you why he thinks certain things. But he is very fair with how he posts his news and how he shares it. So I can't forget him because he was the first person to take my video and share it. And I thank him for caring enough for Angie to go as far as he's gone, and he's continuing to do that now. He has continued to do that now. So I appreciate him for everything that he does, not just for the Angie Stone sector, but for everything I see him doing. He's a fair guy. And because of that reason, he's going to be around a long, long time. As long as he wants to be on this internet, he'll be around, he'll be respected, and his channel will continue to grow. I respect that, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. He was the first. He was rocking with me from the start on this. And for the people that said I just started my YouTube, if you know anything about YouTube, all you got to do is go and look up at the channel. And it'll show you the date a person started their YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2005 with my other channel. I stopped. I came back 2008. So I've been on here consistently since 2008. I'm not new to YouTube. I'm only new to this drama shit on YouTube, which I, by the way, don't really like. But I'm not gonna say I'm stuck in it. I feel like Angie, there was a calling that was needed, and because of Angie, it opened up this other door that I felt like I needed to be servicing my community. I do music. And in real life, if you know me, I don't just talk about music. I talk about politics. I talk about our community. And I felt like it was time for me to start doing that on YouTube, not just about music. Music is in me. It's going to be a part of me forever. But I want to share the knowledge and the things that we need to share in our community to be better people. You know what I'm saying? To hold each other responsible for making our community better. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it, right? Victory, yes. Sharaj says, you and another content creator, the Messy Sweet Spot, love her content on Angie Stone. She recommended people to follow you. I do. Oh, yes, yes. Let me not forget about the Messy Sweet Spot because she's awesome too. You know, even though I got mad at the chick that she brought on her channel was acting like she know about the music industry, and this is how ISRC and QRC codes work, and they work like this. And I know because I did a ISRC, and you got to pay for it, and all this crazy stuff. She was talking about the music industry, and she knew nothing about the music industry. Don't put people on your channel that don't know what they're talking about, you guys. Bring people that are well versed in that subject, not a person that don't know shit. Because shit she said, and then she talked about me, didn't I don't like him. I don't trust Stone Paxton. Something about him. It's something about Stone Paxton. I don't like him. I'm just saying, it just kind of, he seems kind of weird. Okay. Okay. Hey, when you have a person on your channel, just bring somebody on to know their shit. That's all I'm saying. She didn't know her shit. So that's what I didn't like about Messy Sweet Spot. Other than that, I like Messy. She's a cool person. I have no issues with her. And thank you for sharing the videos for Angie too. So you, Messy Sweet Spot, and my boy that I just mentioned a minute ago. They posted it. They took my videos and posted it first. And then after that, you had all these tag-alongs doing it. You had a lot of, some people were sincere. I saw the ones that weren't. And I saw the ones that wanted to just make money off of Stone Paxton after saying Stone Paxton was trying to make money off of Angie. I saw the ones that's trying to make money off of me. I saw you. I still see some of your videos. My videos got more happening on your channel than the shit that you have happening before me. So I get why you were doing it. You were doing it for the numbers, but you didn't even ask me to use my videos. You didn't even hit me up. I could have did a strike on your channel. You never said, "Hey Stone, can I repost your videos?" But you use my video, then hate on me. Make that one make some sort of balance, understanding. Use Wisdom said Gigi didn't want to be a part. This thing, it just went quick, you guys. Jada Moon said, where did her trademark products go? Will they be sold to benefit her grandkids? Where did her money go from the last performance? Why was she the only one to become deceased? Stone, if you don't fit the narrative, they show themselves trying. Yes, facts. So, Jada, let me tell you what this detective said. And I'm just telling you what the detective said. His name was Detective Panther from Alabama. I was talking to him and we were talking. He was telling me how he knew the driver. This is what he was saying to me. And then he was using scenarios, right? And he used the weirdest scenario. He said something like, yeah, it's kind of like just saying like, if somebody was to say, the driver took her money. Now that's what he said to me. So I didn't know why he said it. I was scratching my head like, I wonder why he said that. That was just weird that the detectives, I don't know if he was just doing a figure of speech, but he used that analogy to me. And I'll never forget it because I just thought it was strange. I don't know if he was trying to tell me that's what happened or he was using a metaphor to just talk to me. To this day, I don't know. Now, as far as the merchandise, she didn't own the rights. Shayna didn't own the rights to that merchandise. I know the guy that did. He messaged me. He actually is filing a federal suit against Shayna for taking his trademarks and running with it because he created all that stuff for Angie, and it's trademark under his situation. That's why you don't see her running with it. Now, I got people that hit me that told me that she reached out to them trying to get them to take over the content as far as the product and the t-shirts and all that stuff and the coffee so they can put their name on it so they can run with it. She was trying to get somebody else to jump on it, but they didn't want to be involved. They actually called me and I told them, I said, yeah, I wouldn't even be involved with that. That's federal. Whenever she gets hit for that, it's going to go down because that's not her trade. She has no rights to run that. She doesn't own the trademark to it. So I told that particular person that contacted me, I said, yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't even get involved with that. Don't let her trick you into trying to repress up that product for her. And she also told me, a few other people and a guy called me and told me some shit and said that Shayna said that as she can, once she makes the worldwide deal with the product, she's set for life. I know this person is not lying to me. Why would they lie? They said, yeah, I'll talk to her. And she's like, once I make that deal, that worldwide product deal, I'm set for life. I'm just saying. Tracy Shorter, thank you for the donation. Tracy said, Stone, not to take away from Angie, did you hear about Chicago Mike passing from a car crash? What are your thoughts? Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know. I don't know. That whole thing is still weird. I was thinking about that an hour ago. And I don't know. That's weird. I got some phone calls I have to make that I haven't done with some people that I'm going to talk to about that. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know if I'm going to talk about that, but yeah, that's kind of strange. Thank you for reminding me about that, Tracy. Thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to see what else. I'm gonna read some more of these comments. Use Wisdom said, "Isn't she running it through her daughter?" Running what? Use Wisdoms. What's up, Damage Kisses? Jennifer K. She is, and Darlene, thank you. I didn't choose this. I'll be honest with you. So many times I thought if I could go back and redo it, I would have never taken on the title of doing all this stuff. When Angie called me, so many times I said maybe I should have just said no, Stony, thank you, but I'm good. But I didn't. I cared. I heard it in her voice that she needed help, and I didn't want to turn. She's Angie's like a big sister and aunt. When you, like I said, you didn't have to know Angie at all, but when you met her, she'll make you feel like you've known her for 42 years. She just had that kind of spirit. She's embraced you, and she will talk to you for hours. I promise you, man. Like, I wish that I could have shared those moments that I had with her. I wish I could share that with you guys, man, and let you see. I'm going to bring some people on this live that are friends of mine that I put on the phone with her. And I'm going to let you tell you how they felt when they talked to her. When I randomly said, Stony, can you say hello to a friend of mine? She said, yeah, baby, call him. I called him. She talked to him. wasn't tripping off of being on the phone with him, stay on the phone, talk. She loved it. She was a great person, you guys. She was, I mean, I can't say it enough. None of us are perfect, but that was a good woman right there. That was a good woman. That was a good woman. She was a good woman. And I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what the industry says. I don't care what nobody says. She was a good woman. And she will always be in my heart forever. Forever. I will never, ever betray her legacy. When I'm on stage, I will always talk about her before my show and when I get off stage. She had a show she was putting together. It was a show for independent artists. Angie loved helping artists. And she told me, she said, Stoney, I'm doing this reality show. I want you to be in it. I said, all right, cool. What is it about? She says, about up and coming artists. And she wanted to help artists. Her and I connection with helping artists was similar. I love helping artists, right? I love helping artists that are helping themselves. So I told her immediately. I said, yes. I said, whenever you're shooting, she says, gonna be in Atlanta. We're gonna be shooting in Atlanta. I said, okay, I'll come. I guess she had already been filming this. And I said, yeah, I'm there. Yeah, no problem at all. I'll come. I'm there. So when I think about Angie, I think about perseverance. She was going to be working on a new album. I was excited because I knew now that once she started working on her album, I'll be able to get her on my album. So I was excited about that. She wanted to come on my YouTube channel. She kept asking me, when can we do it, Stoney? I said, let me just set it up. I was procrastinating, which I wish I'd never done because I would have had that gift to give to you guys, my interview with her. And I wish that I had done it, man. I will never procrastinate on anything like that again the rest of my life. Sometimes we think we have forever, and sometimes we really don't. And procrastination is the enemy of all enemies. And I should have never, because that would have been the greatest gift to give you guys. Would have been probably one of her last interviews. And she gave it to me. I never called her and set it up. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Not with none of my industry friends. Whenever we agree to an interview, I'm going to make sure I do it, especially when they keep asking me, like she was asking me, when am I ready to do it? Listen, you guys, hold on for a second. Okay, so Messi will put anything on the channel. Alavera, I just saw that. You so funny. Listen, you guys, listen, you made my day today. I can't wait to show this to Meech. You made my day today. Meech is gonna be like, man, I should have been on there. Thank you for stopping in, talking to me, hanging out with me. Maybe we'll talk about Angie every day, man. You know, she's worthy of that, man. You know what I mean? Just keep the love going, man. Thank you guys, man. Thank you. Thank you for all the blessings. I might catch you later. No promise, but for sure you're gonna see me tomorrow. Peace and love. Talk to you later. Ciao. Hashtag justice for Angie Stone.